Welcome to this explainer on the architecture of financial freedom. You know, there's this quiet realization hitting millions of hardworking professionals right now, and man, it is heavy. It's the realization that just working harder, it simply isn't enough anymore. We're looking at a whole society of exhausted, burnt-out people grinding through endless workdays only to feel, well, entirely financially fragile. So we're going to unpack exactly why that is, and more importantly, how you can build a way out.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The wealthy don't sell time for money. They build assets that pay them while they sleep. I mean, that right there is the fundamental hidden shift separating mere survival from true financial freedom. And most people miss this, right? Because our culture is perfectly designed to train workers, not owners. Relying solely on your own labor literally puts an invisible ceiling on your entire life.
Section 1. The trap of endless labor, or the illusion of the grind. Now, while there's absolute dignity in honest labor, for sure, the reality is that our human time, our energy, our physical bodies, they're strictly finite resources. And that brings us to a really dangerous truth. If you stop working, the income stops too. This is the root cause of so much deep anxiety for modern workers. Think about it. If you get sick, the machine stops. If you take time off, your momentum completely dies. It's this invisible servitude that traps incredibly intelligent people simply because they were never taught the mechanics of leverage. Section 2. Labor versus leverage, the tale of two paths. To actually escape the grind, we've got to shift from selling our time to utilizing financial leverage. So what is that? It means using assets, systems, and resources to multiply your output way beyond your physical effort. Instead of your income relying on you physically being there, you build or acquire systems that just produce value on their own. It's a real game changer. It changes absolutely everything about how you earn a living.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is comparing these two different approaches to work. First, you have the laborer. He's grinding 60 hours a week. He's disciplined, sure, but he's exhausted and permanently tied to a schedule, earning a strictly linear income. On the flip side, we have the owner. He also works hard, but he focuses on building assets. At first glance, their earnings might look identical, but over the years, the owner's path becomes exponential, ultimately buying his time back, while the laborer, well, he just remains stuck on that treadmill.
So what exactly is the owner building? He's building the machines that don't sleep. We're talking cash-flowing businesses, dividend portfolios, digital products, rental properties, and intellectual property. These are the specific systems proving that assets ultimately buy freedom. And not just instant luxury, but the actual freedom to think clearly, to spend time with your family, and to live intentionally.
Section 3. Symbols versus assets, the cultural trap.
So why do so few people build real leverage? Honestly, it's because our culture pushes us so hard to look rich rather than actually be rich. Just compare a luxury car to an income asset. A luxury car might feed the ego, but it depreciates the exact second you drive it off the lot. It actively drains your future wealth. An income asset, though, it quietly produces value in the background. So many high earners immediately trap themselves in lifestyle inflation, buying expensive symbols that offer exactly zero protection when the economy gets tough. And this brings us to the ultimate mental pivot point. You literally have to change the fundamental question you ask yourself about money. Instead of asking, what can I buy? You absolutely must begin asking, what can I own that produces value? That single, simple shift, it moves you from being a consumer to an owner, altering your entire financial trajectory. Section 4. The mindset of stewardship, emotional control. Making that mental shift requires some pretty profound emotional control. Because, let's face it, the math of wealth isn't a secret. The real challenge is having the discipline to avoid impulse spending. The source material points to a deep historical wisdom, often rooted in Catholic thought, that notes money itself isn't actually evil, but an unhealthy attachment to it that distorts the soul. So the goal of leverage isn't greedy hoarding, not at all. It's about creating stability, providing for your family, and exercising true responsibility over your life. Unfortunately, modern culture aggressively discourages this kind of patience. I mean, we are constantly surrounded by what we can call the destroyers of leverage: impulse spending, short-term thinking, a severe addiction to comfort, and that endless, toxic dopamine loop of social media comparison. Social media loves to glorify the overnight millionaire, right? But real wealth grows slowly. It's like an oak tree. Consistent investment over decades creates astonishing momentum through compounding, but only if you can survive those destroyers of leverage to actually get there. So the crucial point is, leverage isn't just about money sitting in a brokerage account. Your own high-value skills are a massive form of leverage too. Things like communication, sales, leadership, and elite problem solving. The marketplace rewards value creation far more than just physical sweat. When you develop these skills, your reputation and your character compound, and that attracts high-level opportunities that hourly workers simply never even see. Section 5, building a lasting legacy, margin and resilience. The true, deeper purpose of building assets isn't merely about comfort. It is all about resilience. And the absolute foundation of resilience is margin. Margin is simply room to breathe. It's room to think. It's the room to act wisely instead of just reacting emotionally to every single crisis. Margin is arguably the greatest form of wealth in the modern world. Honestly, it's the exact profound piece that exhausted professionals are desperately searching for right now. Let's move to the next step and see how this builds, because creating this margin is a highly practical reality. It's a repeatable flywheel of small acts compounding over time. It starts right at step 1, learning financial literacy. That naturally leads to reducing unnecessary consumption, which in turn builds up your savings buffer, ultimately allowing you to invest consistently. Small, disciplined actions, repeated long enough, become extraordinary systems. Think of it this way. Every dollar invested into productive assets becomes a future worker, generating additional income. You are quite literally making your money your employee. This actually reflects a much deeper spiritual principle woven into reality: multiplication. The disciplined decisions you make today multiply into opportunities that are going to benefit your family for decades to come. The ultimate irony here is that many of the wealthiest looking people, the ones flashing the luxury items, are actually deeply financially fragile. Meanwhile, many truly free people appear entirely ordinary. That's because real wealth is often invisible. What does it look like? It looks like low stress, ironclad self-control, patience, true ownership, and ultimate time freedom. It's the quiet, strong foundation of a resilient life. So we're gonna leave you with this final provocative question today. Look, your physical hours, they will always have limits, but your assets can multiply endlessly. So are you going to keep asking yourself, how hard can I work? Or are you finally ready to start asking, how intelligently can I build? It is time to stop the endless cycle of survival and start building a truly lasting legacy.